Hello, my name is Emily Church, and I'm seeking a grant for a digital library made for blind and visually impaired individuals called See the World. This library would allow users to search famous artwork from museums all over the world, such as the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the MoMA, and the Louvre. My main motivations for wanting to create a library to service this demographic is the extreme lack of blind accessible libraries. As a former special education teacher, I'm always looking for ways to make everyday life accessible to those with disabilities. This, combined with my love and passion for art, made this a no-brainer. Design idea and need. According to the American Foundation for the Blind, there are 2 million blind or visually impaired individuals, or BVI, in the United States alone. There has been little to no research done on digital libraries for this community, but research that's been done points towards a greater connection between accessibility and usability. BVI individuals use computers in a completely different way than most of us do, whereas we rely on the visuals of the web page and can click on links and mouse over different areas of the web pages. Blind users rely on auditory cues from either another person who is translating the text for them or from a screen reader. I have found that screen readers are highly inaccurate and actually end up confusing users more because they are meant to simply read what is on the web page in a very monotone, synthetic voice. The most severe limitation I have found, however, is that screen readers do not interpret any visuals on the page, only text, which you can imagine is a challenge for wanting to design a pretty much strictly visual digital library. I came up with this idea while walking through the Metropolitan Museum of Art the other day. Most displays have headphones that offer facts and information about the artwork that you're looking at. I thought, why can't we bring this to a digital library so everyone can have access to it? Since the beginning of digital libraries, the goal has been to make information and digital libraries themselves accessible to all users no matter what, so this would be a huge step in that direction. Estimated cost and timeline. A typical screen reader device for a personal computer usually costs around $1,000. However, what I plan to do is embed the screen reader technology into the library itself so that users can access it from any computer and still get the same information. There's obviously a lot to be done with screen readers to make them more efficient to 2017 standards. I estimate this costing about $5,000 to $7,000 and taking about 3 months to work with developers and make it more efficient. The screen reader will also have to be updated every year so that it is always working effectively for our users. I estimate that it would take about 2 months to build the entire collection and enter all of the metadata, which can be done simultaneously while working on the screen reader technology. We're lucky because it is a primarily visual library, so there's not a lot of text that needs to be input. It's mainly photographs. There may also be a cost to doing field testing because of certain equipment that is needed, such as special keyboards for the BVI users. I don't see this costing more than $1,000. All in all, if there are no major hiccups, I anticipate this project costing around $15,000 initially and taking about 6 to 7 months to complete. The collection. The collection for this library will consist of 100 pieces of famous artwork from artists such as Salvador Dali, Pablo Picasso, Andy Warhol, just to name a few. It will be structured into various collections, such as by museum, by the movement that the artwork is a part of, or the artists themselves. This is important because the library needs to be kept simple and easy for the users to browse and find the art that they want. If you add a whole bunch of fluff, it's going to be very confusing for the screen reader and for the user to pick up on what the screen reader is saying. Once inside the collection or artwork that they want, the screen reader will read the user a detailed description similar to one that you would actually hear in a museum. They'll also be able to mouse over certain areas to hear more information. So for example, if you have Salvador Dali's The Persistence of Memory with the melting clocks, The screen reader will read a description of the artwork, where everything is located, the colors, and then the user will be able to mouse over certain parts. So if they mouse over the part with the melting clock, it will give them more information about the meaning of this clock or certain things like that. So also shown here are sample records of an XML document with all the pertinent information. This is what every record will look like for every piece of artwork in the collection. The creation. The library will be created using the Greenstone 3 library interface. Since all of the content is photographic, the gathering will be fairly easy, as mentioned before. The only text to be input are the descriptions and any information on the artwork that the screen reader will eventually read to the user. There will also be a new metadata schema, which is based off of Dublin Core, that is more unique to this collection. I think that Dublin Core is a great basis for metadata. I just don't think that it has what this collection needs to enrich it. This schema will be called Artwork, or AW. There will be several new qualifiers in this schema. There will be artwork title, the artist name, nationality of the artist, the year that the artwork was completed, the movement the artwork is a part of, the medium that the artist used to create the artwork, the size of the artwork, and the museum that it is currently in. This part may change. Indexes and browsing classifiers will be based off of these schema. I picked 4 of them. They are title, artist, movement, and museum. I chose these 4 because they are most pertinent searches that users will be doing. Most users aren't going to search by the size of the artwork or the year that the artwork was completed, so I thought that these were the most important ones to choose. The rest of the interface will be very simplistic as to not confuse the screen reader or the user. While most digital libraries must cater visually to the user, this is not really the case. It might end up confusing the user more. Testing. Field testing is a crucial piece to this digital library. Before we even begin designing, a pre-questionnaire will be given to users to find out basic needs from the library, what they recommend, what they need, because that's most important. Once the prototype is finished, there will be an actual field test. All testers should meet the criteria of being over the age of 18. They must be blind or severely visually impaired and have at least 1 year of experience using a screen reader. This last part is vital because it's the information on the screen reader that we are most interested in getting feedback from. So it's important to have someone who is familiar with the technology and knows what kinks needs to be worked out and things like that. After the testing is done, the updates will be made to reflect the feedback from the users. Then we will test again and keep doing so until everything is perfect. Future plans. If this grant is approved, it's a huge step forward for the universal access to all users of digital libraries. The built-in screen reader technology has the potential to really open up access to not only blind and visually impaired users, but also illiterate users around the world in any kind of a digital library. It doesn't just have to be this specific one. Information and knowledge is not a privilege for those who have access. Everyone is entitled to it. This may be getting ahead of myself, but I do like to dream big. In the short term, however, if we have success in the blind community, I would like to increase the number of records in this collection and perhaps join forces with some museums. Thank you for listening to my grant proposal for my digital library. I hope you consider it.